Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back, your movie guru, with another review. This time I'm going to be bringing you a film that, if you're anything like me, you need to watch it, but you probably don't know that you need to watch it, and you're probably not all that hyped about it. In fact, this was most reminiscent to me of what I saw last year, Dr. Sleep, which was surprising, and I'll get to that in a minute. But first, I am talking about none other than Cruella. It's got a 73% positive rating on Rotten Tomatoes by the critics and an astounding 97% by the audience. So once again, if you're anything like me, you're thinking, okay, Cruella, if you're around my age, you grew up on, the classic Disney film, 101 Dalmatians. So Cruella de Vil as the, this, that I want to say not as iconic as like Darth Vader, but she's definitely in one of the more well-known in Disney's pantheon of villains. So most people around my age and even of the new generation, you'll be familiar with Cruella de Vil. If you're older like me, the cartoon version, and then maybe a little younger, you'll remember Glenn Close famously played Cruella de Vil in the live film adaptation of the cartoon. But just this type of film, speaking generally, this kind of falls into a lot of times a film that you're wondering, hey, is this necessary? Disney has done this with other films. It's an interesting idea, but sometimes you're wondering, do we really need this? So, for instance, Maleficent is another Disney film that came out recently. And, it shows you the story, of the Wicked Witch, but, it's from their point of view. And, so these films can be interesting, that they take, an old familiar story that a nursery rhyme or a classic Disney film, and then you kind of turn it on its head and then you tell it, from somebody else's perspective. This also falls into a realm of, for instance, of the Star Wars films. Solo came out, and it was, this origin story of Han Solo, taking a popular character from a franchise of films and then, doing kind of a spinoff and where you get to learn a little bit more about the character. And so these can be very hit or miss. And sometimes one of the great things about a character, especially when it's a villain, sometimes the greatest thing about them is that you don't know everything about them. It gives them a bit of mystery, and, not every character you need to, has to have this big, giant, well-developed backstory. Sometimes, an iconic character can only be, in the film for a certain amount of time, and, they can steal the show, based on, how well the actor or actress is, and just the overall plot of the film. The reason why I say that this film most reminded me of Dr. Sleep was it was a film I did not know that I needed. I really, really enjoyed this film. Emma Stone and Emma Thompson, very, very well done. In fact, I would say it's not so much the plot that you're going to walk away from this film and say that, oh, wow, now that I know Cruella's backstory, that's so interesting. But Emma Stone, and I said Emma Thompson too, but Emma Stone really knocks it out of the park in that she makes her acting made Cruella so interesting and much more relatable than would have been, I think, that if you would have had someone else that was acting and just going through the motions. I always say, great villains make films. And, sometimes it works where you've got this villain, who's just evil for evil's sakes. Sometimes, depending on the film, that can work if, you've just never seen someone do things on the level that they do them, or they're ones that you love to hate. They're so evil, and they're this mastermind, and they're so calculated. So sometimes it works, but a lot of times, it really helps if you can relate to the villain in some way. If they make a point about something, if they're right about something, or if they have some type of code, there's something driving them. There's a reason that they're doing the things that they're doing, and something, that helps you relate to them, something that helps you as a normal person kind of cross that bridge and understand, why it is they are the way that they are. Like I said, sometimes that really takes away from it. You can know too much about a villain, and it can take away from, their mystery and their power. But sometimes it really works. And I'd say it's the way Emma Stone did this, it really works. Beforehand, I just love movies. So I was like, hey, I want to go see a movie tonight. I'm going to go see this. But it was not something that I was hyped, or I was excited, or I was, salivating to go see at all. But I can distinctly remember, like, halfway through the film thinking, hey, this is really fun. I'm really enjoying watching this. And like I say, I can't give enough credit to Emma Stone. And then Emma Thompson as well plays a great foil. Sometimes it's really hard to, when you have that type of villain or anti-hero role, sometimes it's really hard to cast them against, another villain, because it's like, who are you going to root for? And this person's not supposed to be the good guy, but, they're kind of the protagonist of the film. So how do you get the audience to root for them if, they're not necessarily good? So sometimes it's hard to walk that line. You've got to make, the antagonists even worse than they are. And when you've got a character like Cruella DeVille, like I said, in the pantheon of Disney villains, one of the more prominent ones, it can be hard to do, but I think they did really well. The plot's nothing crazy, nothing you're going to be like, oh, wow, that's so interesting, but it really fit the story. And I give it an 8 out of 10, really enjoy it. It is a film that probably if I watched it again, had a couple more viewings, I'd probably rate it an 8.5 out of 10. I can definitely see myself watching this again and still enjoying it. I think it has a good rewatch value as well. Go see this one with friends. I really think that'll enhance the experience. Seeing this in theaters and being able to laugh and get the jokes and enjoy everything that happens. If you're a big fan of Disney films, if you're a big fan of like The Devil Wears Prada, that's a really close type of film to this. I think you really enjoy this one. You can see it on a date night. You can go and see it, like I said, with a group of friends. I think this is a really fun movie. And if anything, this film really makes me want to see Emma Stone and more stuff and see what else she's got, because this was great. So that's my review for this one, 8 out of 10. Go see this one in theaters. You won't be missing out. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, write me a comment. We can talk about it. Once again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That really helps me out. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you.